So what we're going to do now, we're going to get our machine and its settings all set up. What the stitch we're doing, once again, is this one here on our threading chart, 3-thread reversed wave. We're going to make sure all of our settings are ready to go before we thread. So we have the O2 needle in, which is the rightmost needle. We're going to set our stitch length at 0.75 standard, which means not rolled. So 0.75 standard. We're going to set our stitch length to 5.0. Our stitch selector, the letter B as in Bravo. We're going to turn. We're going to set this lever up to the wave, where it says wave, from overlock up to wave. We're going to make sure our upper looper selector is in the up position. That lever right there, it says down or up. You want it to point towards up. We're going to make sure our cutting blade is engaged. And we're going to have our knife cover on. That's this cover right here. And we're also going to make sure our subsidiary looper is laying over here to the right of the upper looper mechanism. The only time we actually use that upper looper is when we're doing a 2-thread stitch on our machines. That's all the settings. Everything is set. I also, if you have one of the sergers that have a variable speed control for the motor for your machine, slide it all the way to the slowest position. When doing decorative stitches like this, it's better to go slow than fast. You'll get better stitch formation. And now we're going to thread it up. Okay, so first we are going to thread. We are going to thread the, hold on. So remember, normally we've been putting, for the previous 2 videos, we actually put, this is our lower looper thread, okay? But this time, we're going to set it where the upper looper thread would go, okay? And we're going to thread it, upper looper. Now, we're going to put this thread, though, in the lower looper. Make sure I'm doing this right. No, we're going to start that over. So this stitch, this reversed wave stitch, has a trickier threading path than the previous 2 that we've reviewed. So we're going to put our lower looper thread on the upper looper spindle, and we're going to put it up on the thread tree for the upper looper, but this is going to be our lower looper thread, okay? And normally the lower looper would go right here in the first pole. We're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and we're going to put it right here, okay? But then we're going to thread it in the lower looper threading port. Let's lower our lever down to threading, turn the hand wheel towards us until we hear it click. Right there, it just clicked. And now we're going to thread this into the lower looper. Okay, that is threaded. And you might be wondering, well, why would you change that whole threading path? Because with the wave stitches, we have to thread it differently from a normal overlock, because by changing the threading path, it changes thread tensions, okay? That's what we're accomplishing here. So next, we are going to do our upper looper thread, but it's going to go here where normally the lower looper thread would go, okay? And it is going to go into the lower looper port this first one right here, where normally the blue thread would go, normally this would be your lower looper, but we're putting our upper looper thread in there, and then we're going to feed it down through the upper looper port. Okay, so these threads are kind of going to make an X right here. They're going to cross each other. They're reversed. Get that threaded. That one is threaded. Excuse me. And next we're going to do our needle thread. Now our O2 needle thread will go on its regular slot right there. Put it through the O2 slot up there on the threading tree. And then we're going to put it, though, we're going to run it like we have before. Over here, our O2 needle will go where normally the O1 needle would go. But you're just going to put it right over here in the leftmost threading slot right here. Okay? I'll go over this all again here in a moment. And then we're just going to thread it as we normally would for our needle. Okay? Here we go. And our needle is now threaded. Okay. Now everything is threaded properly. Now I'm going to go over this again. Lower looper thread right here, lower looper right there. And it's going to go into this slot right here. Oops, I did not get that. Come here, finger. That came out of there. Let me just click that back in. There we go. Okay. So, lower looper comes up through the upper looper port on the tree, and it comes into this slot right here. And then it goes down and goes into the lower looper threading port. Once again, lower looper thread over, down to this slot here, and to the lower looper port. Next, upper looper thread up and over, and it comes down through this slot, the upper looper thread, and it'll come over here and go into the upper looper threading port. Our O2 needle will go right here, up and over, and it'll go into this slot right here. And that is the O2 needle, over, around, and into the needle. Everything is set now, and we're going to stitch this out. I'm going to close the doors. We're going to turn our threading lever back up to serging. I have a 6-inch square of flannel quilting fabric, and I'm just going to fold it in half to do my test stitch on. I like using the flannel for test stitches simply because it has some body and weight to it, and you can really check your stitch formation that way. Okay, we're all set to go. I'm going to zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. There we go. And we're off. here's the cool thing. Check this out. This is the top side of our piece. I'm going to go to the other camera so you can get a close-up view of it. Okay, so this is the top, here is the bottom. Okay, so it decorates both what this does, it will actually embellish both the top and the bottom at the same time. Check it out. You can see the little blue tips coming in on the top, and on the back you can see the yellow tips coming in. It's a beautiful stitch. And as we compare it, let's compare it to the previous two wave stitches we've done already. So I'm going to lay them up here. This is the 3-thread wave stitch. That is the 3-thread rolled wave stitch. And this is the 3-thread reversed wave stitch. Okay, there's a video on each one of these 3 stitches. And that's all there is to it. Easy peasy. Thank you so much for watching. Look out for some more videos. I have a lot of threading videos coming your way. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.